One thing about fuel scarcity in Nigeria is that it comes and goes, and after inflicting untold hardship on citizens whose means of livelihoods revolve around petrol. But hope about the current fuel situation appears dim. The major oil marketers association of Nigeria, MOMAN, has blamed the fuel scarcity being experienced across the country on the 68.4% drop in supply over the last 3 months. Chairman of MOMAN, Olumide Adeosun, said 438,000 metric tons was injected in April, 213,100 metric tons in May, and 140,000 metric tons as of June 20th. Meanwhile, the National Operations Controller of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Mike Osatuyi, has warned the federal government against continued payment of fuel subsidy, which he said is no longer sustainable. He explained that the current rate of about $123 per barrel of oil subsidy will rise to 6 trillion naira by the end of 2022. Actually, it's 4 or 5 days of queues in Lagos. IPMAN is blaming this on shortage of supply of PMS. And this is a periodic occurrence in Nigeria.
Well, the problem of scarcity is a recurrent decimal in our Nigerian political economy. It happens almost every year. We thought we'd been able to resolve the problem, but now for the past 4 or 5 months, across the country, it is the same problem. The stakeholders, we always look for one excuse or the other. But it boils down to the fact that a country that's one of the leading oil-producing nations in the world cannot satisfy the needs of our people. I think the whole thing boils down to incompetence on the part of those in charge, mismanagement, and corruption. That is what is reflecting, that we are trying to justify, to rationalize using all sorts of excuses. So unless the petroleum sector is sanitized, and we have read this over and over and over again, Nigeria will continue to, they are talking about, so they are telling us they have not removed subsidy and we are paying 180. So if they will remove the subsidy, how much are we going to be paying? You see, so I'm really, I'm worried, What you are just seeing is corruption and, lack of competence, no matter what excuse, they are trying to give. We are not the only oil producing country in the world. Why is it that it's only in Nigeria that almost every year there is something, a problem that has to, and we keep on importing finished products, whereas we produce, crude oil here.
All right, guys, we will definitely continue this conversation, but let's go on this commercial break. All right, welcome back. Now, Olabisi, MOMAN blames the situation on gradual reduction in supply in the last 3 months. So how did we allow it generate to this level?
They even told us that it's a product of Russian-Ukrainian war, that is what is responsible for what is happening here. These Nigerians, they are so funny. There is nothing they cannot, there is no excuse they can't come up with. You just wonder, Russia and Ukraine. In fact, all the problems we have in Nigeria now is because of Russia and Ukrainian war. We've not even gone to the issue of gas, which is another problem of Russia. Yeah. So now they are telling us that it is because of that war that we are experiencing a reduction in the quantity of fuel that's come to the country. But I think the real issue that we should ask ourselves is this: why do we, as a major oil-producing nation, still import finished products in 2022?
A lot of people have had.
Before I was born, they've been asking this question. I'm not a small girl again. Let me call myself a girl. This is still the question. So for how long are we going to be asking ourselves this question? It's a simple answer. I think the regime we are operating now gives room for corruption, high-scale high level of corruption. So therefore, we are satisfied and comfortable with it. I think that is just the main problem. That is the problem. Otherwise, why should we be talking about importation and all of that? Now we pay 180 naira. I think about 4 years ago, they told us that they were removing subsidy. At that time, the price of PMS went to about 97 naira. And the reason they gave to us was that because subsidy has been removed. Now, who knows the exact subsidy? We are still talking about subsidy today. What is that subsidy? We don't know. How much is the landing cost? It is what they give us. So for how long do we continue with this? I can assure you that even today, if we pay 180 naira, even if this price is moved to 200 naira, we will still talk about subsidy next year.
Okay.
When there is any fuel scarcity, issue of subsidy will come in, and we will keep on doing it and doing it. And again, the World Bank will tell us that we should remove subsidy. So what are we subsidizing? We are subsidizing the corruption in this system. To me, that is what we are subsidizing, because if everything is transparent enough, we will actually know how much the landing cost of petroleum is. And we will know if we need to pay more, even if they need to remove this so-called subsidy, and we know the actual price, and we know that we move forward from there. But also remember that another problem with our supply is the cost of forex. Because of the fluctuations we've been having in the last few weeks, that has also affected the cost of landing the fuel, which is another problem. So in that problem now, Nigerians are paying for that forex increase, which is another problem. So I think the solution to our problem is to encourage local production. That is the only way we can get out of this fuel problem, scarcity, year in and year out.
All right, BKO. Today, IPMAN says, don't panic buy. Tomorrow, IPMAN says we cannot go less than 180 naira per litre. Now, let me ask you, is this some sort of gradual deregulation?
No, it's not. That's really not the case.
Okay.
The complaints of the IPMAN guys is that the trucking of petroleum products, refined petroleum products that we bring into our country, is dependent on diesel. All these big trucks, they need to buy diesel to take petrol to every part of Nigeria. What government did in June was to increase the what it pays for bridging. That is what it pays to truckers to move petroleum products here and there. But you can imagine a situation where they were buying diesel at 250 naira per litre sometime in March, and today that same litre of of diesel is sold at 850. So the cost of moving petrol has definitely gone up significantly, despite the fact that government decided to pay them more for moving petroleum products. In June, what the government decided to pay is not enough to cover the cost of moving petrol from one point to another. You know, in our country, what government wants to see is that petrol is sold at the same price across board. The only way to do this is to subsidize the movement of petroleum products by tanker drivers and the rest of them. So they are saying now, since it is diesel that they depend on, the cost of moving this product has gone up significantly. So to them, it is not practicable to continue to sell petrol at 165 naira owing to the rise in price of diesel. Russia is the highest producer of diesel, but we all know that because of the war, accessing diesel has been a lot more difficult thanks to sanctions and the rest. So we are suffering from our refusal to keep our refineries working around the clock. When you take bad decisions, you must live with the consequences of your bad decisions. In 2007, President Obasanjo wanted to privatize that sector and sell the refineries. He wanted to sell the refineries to Dangote and Otedola. President Yar'Adua came into office and canceled the transaction. Today, those refineries are moribund. They are not producing a drop of refined products. And we are suffering as a result. We are the only OPEC member country that continues to import petroleum products. It's such a massive shame. Now, we are suffering because those refineries are not working. If we had fixed our refineries, we would not be having this problem. I'm happy for one thing. Anytime we have fuel scarcity, somehow the facts will come out. What MOMAN has said reminds me of what happened in 2017 when the Minister of Petroleum at that time, Ibe Kachiku, was lying to his country that fuel scarcity was caused by consistent smuggling. But MOMAN came out during the public hearing in the Senate and provided evidence that supply had tapered down significantly over a number of months. So we supply from NNPC tapering down significantly over a period of time. Why won't there be scarcity? So we are told now that supply has gone down from NNPC by 68% over the last 3 months. Why won't it affect us in the long run? Of course it will affect us. It will affect us because the supply will not be enough. It will not go around us as a country and as a people. So thanks to MOMAN for coming up with these facts. We now know who is to blame for the scarcity that we face. But of course, the issue of appropriate pricing also has to be addressed, because if truckers find it unprofitable to move petrol from one part of Nigeria to another, everybody goes to Lagos to lift petrol. If they find it unprofitable, more and more of them will drop out. And when they drop out of lifting petroleum products, of course, we are going to face the kind of problems that we are facing now.
All right, thank you, Bikewa. Now, let me come to you, Adewale. 6 trillion naira fuel subsidy payments by the end of this year. And no one needs to tell us how dangerous this is for our economy.
Well, I think we are all witnesses to the consequences. Because anytime you tinker with, fuel, it has a chain reaction on the economy. If you see what has been going on in the past few months, the prices of foodstuff, the transportation cost, and even the quality of products from the manufacturing sector. When people discover they need to spend so much on diesel, it will affect, the output from those factories. So I think, and we should also know that with this kind of station, we are going to see more crime. People will lose their jobs and all sorts of things. So if we don't do something drastic, the implication will be all-embracing, and it's going to affect economic stability of homes and economic stability of the country at large.
All right, Olabisi. Now, what do you think is responsible for that current gap between the supply and distribution chain? Do you say corruption?
Well, I think BK has explained it that you see, you need more money to get more products. That is just it. You need, and we don't produce, we don't get dollar. We have scarcity of this forex, and Even in other areas, businesses are suffering because we don't have enough forex available to run businesses. So naturally, the amount of money that will be available for government to import fuel, which is in dollars, I don't think we have the kind of money that we used to have before now. And that could have affected even the quantity that we can bring in. I guess it's a major problem. You know, Nigeria is running on loan. Even civil servants' salaries are paid by loans. And we are servicing a lot of debts and all of that. So I guess that could have been part of the problem that we are facing. And I also think that government may just try to do this as a bridge, then bring in more. Maybe for some time we just experience this scarcity, pending the time that they also have more money in the system to be able to do enough importation of what we need. They could have relied on what was available before, thinking that that would do. But of course, some are even saying that there is really no scarcity. But we don't also know if that is true, that maybe we have enough, just that they don't want to lift because of the price.
As of this morning, NNPC and PPMC have released more products. Now, people are asking, must there be queues before these products are released?
Because it is because of the pricing. You understand? They need that scarcity, that atmosphere of scarcity has to be created because you need to pay more.
Okay.
A lot of people are buying at 180 naira, and I guess maybe gradually it will come down to 165 naira when more products is actually available.